Hello everyone, Args here. Welcome back to Missouri River Bottom. Now, firstly, I just want to say a huge thank you for everyone who watched episode 1. Loved reading all the comments on that and how warmly received it was. A few comments there about it being a return to the Western Australia 16X, which was something we tackled in FS19, which is a long time ago, but that was some of the inspiration for the way that I was planning on playing this, which was basically big fields, big equipment, lots of auto drive, lots of course play, and just having a bit of fun and just playing along. No strict storyline or anything like that, so we're going to stick to that and just keep on moving. So we've carried on where we finished off last time. You can see here we're sitting in the quad track, which is running on course play at the moment. We've got the 9RX over there in the background, and as I alluded to at the end or during the last episode, is how far this quad track actually got in front of the 9RX. It covered a lot of extra ground. They weren't too far apart, probably one pass, but we've at least got two good lengths there on the 9RX now. So definitely the added horsepower of this quad track definitely has helped with it pulling. Now over in the other field we've got the combines are just about finishing up on the soybeans, so I do have a little bit of a plan of attack for today. We're basically we'll probably actually just ride along here with the quad track to get back down to the other end of the field, and then we're going to jump out, go and check on the combines. Once they are finished, we're basically going to split them up into a few different fields. Basically we've got 3 smallish fields, which is probably not worth setting a combine up into into them in tandem or in a triple. It's basically we might as well just go and send them each off to one field at a time. Might make things a little bit harder with trucks and those kind of things, but I think even just this little field here on the left, which you can see, which is soybeans, we probably, based on the capacity we harvested last time out of this field, that field will probably just about fit in a single grain cart. So we'll just figure out exactly how we go and tackle that. But that's my plan: set up 2 fields running on course play, auto drive and things like that, and then I'm just going to tackle the other field all on my own solo. So that's the plan of attack for today. I've got a few other things lined up. We're going to have a little bit of a harvesting challenge in a couple of episodes. We're going to put some combines up against some Nexats in a similar couple of sized fields on corn and see how they go, and I've also got a little bit of a plan for some silage coming up too, so we'll have to have a look at how we fit that in, how we tackle that one. But anyhow, I'm just going to ride along here. We're almost at the end. You can see those combines starting to come into vision. You can see those there, and they will be finished in not too long. So in fact, let's just take a quick look at the map and have a look at what we're going to be doing. So we've harvested 24, we've harvested 13, which leaves us obviously the big field here, which might be next time, but we've got 20, 22 and 8, which are kind of relatively small fields. This one's the biggest, 38 acres. What's that? Half the size of that one, a little over half the size. 22 acres in that one and 24 acres in that one. So my plan is I'm going to tackle this solo. We'll put a combine in each of those. Not quite sure how we're going to tackle this one from a grain cart point of view. It might have to be a little bit of manual labour there by us. Could see if we could leave a grain cart running on this course and whether that would work, and then we can just put a truck down here. We've got a waypoint for that field, so that can be completely autonomous. This one's just a little bit harder to tackle, so I'll give it some thought, figure out exactly what we're going to be doing. But if we just go back here to our field state, you can see the last little bit of the field that needs to be done, so not too much to go at all, and we're getting to the end of our pass. So we'll jump out, go over and have a look at things over here, and just keep an eye on those combines finishing off. Grain cart's running around too, which is just great. Right, let's hop out and go and see things. So first things first, I can clearly see that the truck here in front of us, the red one, the red Mac, is nowhere near full. In fact, it looks like it's hardly got any beans in it at all. So we're going to send this one down the road and get it parked up ready to go for the next field, and we might get the grain cart down there as well. So we're going to head this one down to truckload 20, not that one, we want to go down to one further, truckload 20 and 15. So exit out of here, bring up our auto drive. Which one was it? Truckload 20 and 15, is that what I said? It was 20 and 15, right, so that's there, it's going to our dryer and it's got soybeans in it. Alright, send that off on its way. Now I do need to, when we finish this field, record how much we actually take out of it. It's going to actually be a little bit difficult just thinking about it, keeping track of the next 3 fields if I'm going to harvest them all at the same time, but we'll be able to give it a fairly good whack at understanding exactly how much we've got in each one. So we'll just ride along here, head on down, check out this field, because I haven't been down here yet to see what it's all like. Alright, here we are. This is field 20 on our right hand side and field 15 out here on the left, which is the big sucker that we'll be having to tackle in the not too distant future. But 15 is the one we're looking at the moment. Now I'm just looking at where this course is going. It's going to obviously do a UE, and it seems like the waypoint must be facing the other way, is it? Let's just wait and see here what the course is going to do. In fact, let's just try and bring it up and just have a look. Here we go. Yeah, it's going to come in here, use this bit of grass before it gets over the riverbank there and ends up down in the trees. And that's going to turn around and go back that way. Right, well, we'll let that do its thing. We know what we're looking at and what we're dealing with now down this end. And then we can go and sort out a grain cart to head down this way, as well as getting a combine over here. So there we are, combine's just about to finish. The last one there running down, doing the last little spot. We've got the one combine there to unload into, unload. We've just unloaded actually into that combine, but the grain cart's sitting there waiting. That one should put its auger out and call for the grain cart, so that will head off and do its thing. Now, I was looking on the minimap, I think there might be access into the field down the end there, so we might be able to go and do something with that to get it into the right position. But we're just going to head on down here. I'm going to put this onto the same point. We'll send it down to that field. It won't actually get there because the trucks are going to be in the way, but at least we know it's going to be at the right place. So I'll just have a look here. Truck loading, and we want to go to field 20 and 15. So send that off on its way to do its thing, and we'll go and sort these other ones out. And there we go, that one is being unloaded by the grain cart. Now I'm not sure because I've turned course play off, it might not go and unload the other one over there. We'll just wait and see. In fact, it's 85%, so it might actually go and empty itself out. But there we go, that combine's decided it wants to fold up. So let's carry on down here. We're going to go for a little bit of an explore, go and see if we can find an access into this field down the bottom here, and get things underway with this combine. In true to form, there is a little access way here across the creek. Now, they're not going to do an args and end up in the drink. Just enough space to get into here and across. Don't actually know if there's any other access anywhere anyhow. So let's get things turned on, get it lowered down, and we are just going to set this straight up on some course play. Now I'm going to have to give it a little bit of thought about how we handle an auto drive course for this. I do have a little bit of an idea on how we might be able to get it to empty out. But let's just get this course set up first, and I reckon we might be able to get some grain carts operating down here. And there we go, there's our course for this field. 3 headland passes. I've set it up on lands with 4 rows per land. I had to manually, well I didn't have to, but I chose to manually set the field edge to run in this direction. It had done it on a bit of an angle just to cut out here. Basically, course play manages to figure out the best way to minimise the amount of turning or short passes, whereas I've kind of done it that way because it makes more sense. So let's exit out of this. We should be able to pick our first waypoint and press play, and we're just going to let this one go, and hopefully it'll make a decent start on the field and we can go and sort everything else out. I got a warning while we were in there that the other combines made it down to the other field, so we might jump over and get that one started, and then we will be back and I'll look at a way to get a grain cart working down in this one. So here we are, we'll cut into the field, get the combine into it. We have got the truck there now. I was actually just contemplating whether we could actually run that one, so we use the course play unload directly into the combine option, but I think we'll bring a grain cart down here because this is the bigger of the 3 fields we're doing at the moment. So let's get our course cleared and we will very quickly get this one set up similar to how we did the previous. There we go, same again, 4 row lands, 3 headland passes. We've left the row on this angle. Could have possibly done it parallel with this edge, but I don't know what angle that is, so we've just gone with the automatic option. So let's escape out of this one as well. Set our first waypoint and set it going. There we go. Right, that's 2 out of 3 up and moving. Right, grain carts, and then we can go and make a start in the field we're going to tackle. So the 8R here with the green cart, that's on its way down to 20, field 15 and 20. I did just have to drive it to manually get it past the truck there, so that one is underway. We'll let that get down there and then get that set up. We're going to go jump in the 8RX, and we're going to set that one up to hopefully unload all the way down in that back field. So as I said, I do have a little bit of a plan on how I'm going to get this one to work. Now we're going to use the same grain cart unload point. What I'm going to try and do is actually run a course that comes off here, so we're just going to start recording. And ping that one to there, and there, and then we're going to set this all the way down into the field. So we're going to drive all the way down, basically across the field we've got, and this will become our big loop, like what we did here by the truck. But basically we're going to do a big loop that once the grain cart's full, it should run on this back down and unload into the truck. Now, I don't see why it won't work, but as is always the case, this is a bit of trial and error, so fingers crossed it will. It's also something that you need to be mindful of the crops you've got in the field. We could have run a course around the edge of the field, so it wasn't quite as destructive driving through the middle, but as this is already harvested, it's not too much of an issue. The only thing we'll need to be mindful of is when we put the two cultivating tractors, the tillage tractors, over into here, that it will get in the way a little bit, so hopefully that won't be an issue. But let's head on down. Basically, once I get to the top here of the field, we're just going to drive in, do a loop. We're going to set the waypoint for this field up in here, and then we'll drive all the way back down to the truck. Hopefully that will work. Then all we need to do is set the combine to detect the new waypoint. Now I was trying to do this as carefully as I can, but it seems we don't have crop destruction on, so not too much of a problem. Now I'm just going to stop recording that for just a second, just so I can come back here and set ourselves up with a waypoint. We don't want to be in the way of the combine, but of course once it's done a headland, it's not going to be too much of an issue. So if we just do that there, the combine's about halfway around the field. We're on field 8, so we want this to be a point called F08 GC wait, and we'll just turn our caps lock off. F08 GC wait. That should pretty much follow the convention we had before. We can change that now to F08. And in fact, we're going to use that same unload, but it won't get there yet because we don't have a complete circled course. Now, one thing I could have actually tried to do was run a two-way course down here and see if that worked, and then just use the two-way course to loop back at the other end. I'm not sure. It would be an interesting test to run, but there we go. Let's carry on the recording. We'll get this back down, joint back up down there with the truck. So here we are back down at the truck point. Now, we just come over here, stop on that point there, turn off our recording, connect those 2 points up there, and now F08 GC wait, F13 grain cart unload. We should, if we turn that off, be able to press play. Now it's not going to find a combine, we need to go down and tell it to come and find this one, and then hopefully everything will be up and underway. So we'll go and grab that combine, set that over to the right one, and fingers crossed it'll be on its way. And there we go, we are on the right combine, we've got the right weight point set. The combine's only at 56% full, so we shouldn't actually see any grain cart movement for another 4%. So what I'm just going to briefly do, I do need to get down and get the other ones up and running, but let's just wait here for a second. Let this get to 60%, which is what our current setting is, and go and see if our grain cart will travel that whole way along that loop. I'm confident, but you never know. There's always vagaries around these things. And there we go, 60% here in the combine. So let's go and see if our grain cart's moving. In fact, if we bring up the map, we can probably see it that way. Look at that. There you go. You can already see that 8RX is on its way down here. It's not following the course though, which is a little bit of a worry. I thought that it might have been what got it in and out of the field. So I'm a little bit concerned it's going to just dive straight across here rather than getting to that waypoint and coming out. So we might just go and ride along and see what happens here. In fact, let's just double check some settings. Is it set to restrict pathfinder to field? No, it wasn't. So let's do that as it bounces through the crop. Alright, let's just turn a blind eye to that one. Best laid plans don't always work out. Right, well, the grain cart's on its way. Let's hope it gets through the rest of the water once it's down there. Fingers crossed it might work a little bit better than I'd planned. Well, it's made it. It's here. The grain cart's here. It's not stuck in a ditch, so we'll call that a success. Might not have been the success I was looking for, but it's in the right spot and it's getting ready to unload the combine. So let's leave these ones here. We need to go and get the next one up and running. It's the same story as always with this one. I'm going to set up our course here, get into a position where it's going to be able to unload. We are in field 15 again, so we just need to remember that. So that's going to be our weight point for field 15. So we'll just put that there, field 15 GC weight. And then we need to complete our loop. Now the combine's just about around here. I'm just wondering whether we might wait for that to get here and finish its course, just so we don't have to run on the soybeans, although I do know crop destruction is not turned on. So just for the sake of actually getting this done, because it's going to do a cut corner in the corner there, we've got it set up to doing square corners, so it's going to take a little bit longer to get that done. So get this finished off and then can get the grain carts up and moving in this field. There we go, that should work. finish that one off like that. Give it a bit of a tweak to straighten things up. And then last thing, said we had crop destruction turned off. It appears we didn't. It was just the 8RX did not want to destroy any of the crop, which I guess is a good thing. Right, that is F15, and this should be our grain cart weight point, shouldn't it? That should have been grain cart truck unload. Let's just go and edit that point and fix that. There we go, F15 grain cart unload and F15 grain cart weight set up correctly. So let's just let the combine get past us, cut into the next row, and then we'll be able to set this up and going. In fact, there we go. We're actually going to try and unload, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but there we go. Right, get this all set up on the correct course. So that one there, get these going in the right spot, which is F15 grain cart weight, and then this one needs to be F15 grain cart unload. There we go. Now it's not going to find a combine because again we need to jump up in the combine and set the correct trigger on that one, and then this should be all good to go. So the combine's set and the grain cart's moving, so 80% full, good timing. Right, we'll leave these guys moving and we're going to jump into the next one. Now we do need to just check, we need to get the other truck unloaded, we need to check our quantities of soybeans just to see what we got off that next field, and then we'll be able to try and record some of these, hopefully by truckloads. If we can figure out how many truckloads come off each one, that might be a way we can do it. Anyhow, let's leave this running and go and get the next one. So let's have a look here whether this one is going to fill up the combine, fill up the trailer or not. We've got about 10,000 litres sitting in it. Once we do, we'll just keep a record of how much there is left in the combine, if there is any left in the combine. There won't be, we're only 50% full, just looking up in the top right corner there, so definitely not going to get close at all to filling up that hopper. So we'll send this truck off to go and unload, and then it can come back and be ready here for the grain cart down the end, and then however we might actually have to drive over here. Look at that, it's actually going to go and unload anyhow, is it? Must have been close enough to being full. Want to go and unload. Right, well, we'll let that do its thing. Let's go make a start on the field. We're going to harvest. So here we are going to drive the combine here. Hopefully that blocked by an object will disappear in just a second. I'm not sure what that is. Probably a grain cart getting in the way, but let's just try and set ourselves up with some steering assist. We're going to run 3 headlands, make the most sense. There we go, and work direction. Let's go at a 0 degrees and go up and down the page, up and down the screen, and I'll leave that going. Now, I might just have to go and very quickly check what it is that's blocked by an object, because I don't want to leave these combines stranded. So we're just going to quickly tab through. Not down here. There we go. Grain cart's following too closely. Right, I've had this happen a few times. We'll just disable this, back it up out of the way. Fortunately, we can see that the grain cart is 33% full, so it's done its job at least. Alright, here we go. That's going to let that get back up and moving, and we can turn that on and we'll wait for a call. Right, let's go and carry on with our harvesting. Alright, half an hour of setup and getting things moving time, but we're up and running, which is the main thing. See, it looks like the tractors there next to us have just started on the headlands as well in those fields, so once they're finished we'll be able to set them up going over the road and moving on that one, and yeah, otherwise everything's looking pretty good. I might actually take the liberty of upgrading the horsepower in that 9RX too, just to give it a little bit more grunt, a little bit more oomph. But yeah, we're up and moving, so we're going to harvest this one. We're going to rely on that truck to come back. We'll just run down and unload into it on the side of the field. It's not obviously the most efficient way, but when we've got the combines and grain carts all in different spots, it is just what it is, and that's how we're going to make it work. So time lapse time, let's get into it, get some harvesting done, and we'll see you once we're a bit further through. Now just before we do start that time lapse, we're just going to see the truck there in the background's just returned, so we're just going to record exactly how many soybeans we got in the silo. So there we go, time saving stock check, 344,956, and we ended up with what, 220, so we got about 120,000 off that last field. But we'll record that, 344,956, and keep a track of how much we've ended up with. Anyhow, there we go, time for the time lapse now. We'll see you soon. Alright, well, small technicality. Looks like the truck is full and blocked by the grain cart. So, what's the best way to sort this out? We'll move the truck, leave the grain cart doing its thing. So we'll just jump in here. 51,800 litres. So I should be able to do some maths because I've recorded what we've already put in there. And we know that that's full. And there's a little bit left in that grain cart. Yeah, there is. So we'll figure that out just to make sure we can track these two fields and get that done. Right, 21800. Let's drive that off that way. And leave that running, and we can probably actually dump into the grain cart and leave that there. That's probably the best way, right? I can see that the two tractors are also finishing, or finished, the John Deere down here. Not sure where the quad track is. It must be at the other end of the field, but yeah, things are progressing. We've got Courseplay saying something's finished and needs to be unloaded, so we'll go and have a quick look at that, but we need to go and get our combine out of the way before the 9RX gets down there. So we were able to dump into the back of the grain cart here. We can see the truck's coming back. It's gone and unloaded. So that's all working well. It should come underneath the auger here and actually unload as it goes past. And actually thought of the issue we had there with the grain cart parked in the way, because of course having two trucks down here we never had that issue. But there we go. It's going to get into the right spot. Here we go, you should see it unloading. Perfect. Right, so that's done. Everything else seems to be running. The one that needs to be unloaded is the one down in the end field there. It's only got a couple of passes left because the grain cart's been sitting down there probably waiting for just a wee while. But yeah, we're getting through this field pretty quick too. Only one big long pass, and then we need to jump over and tackle that little wedge. So let's just carry on. That's done. Figured that might happen. It happened last time too. It's because those two paths are really close. So we'll jump over and get that sorted out, and then we'll knock the rest of this out. And there you go. You can see the grain cart moving now, so everything is all sorted. Just move ourselves over a touch. We'll see a little bit of an overlap here with this row. But yeah, that's done. I reckon we might actually go quite some way to getting the rest of this field into the combine without having to unload. Just not actually that much left there when you really think about it. The wedge, I was able to get 4 passes, full long passes, without having to unload. So let's wait and see. We might be able to get that all done. Right, let's carry on. We'll finish this off, and we should still have another half hour or so of our 2-hour self-imposed limit to get everything finished off. But it might be a case, if all the combines are done, that we make that the end of today's episode. But anyhow, let's carry on. Well, we've lost our course just a little bit there. Managed to turn that off. Yeah, let's just see what happens. And there we go, field all finished. That's gone pretty fast actually. I'm pretty impressed with how that went. You certainly would not have wanted to run 3 combines in these fields. It would have taken little or no time. You would have spent more time keeping them unloaded. So I think the decision to split them up between the 3 fields was definitely the right one. Now we've got a couple of finished work notifications up there. I'm assuming that's the 2 tractors, although it might be the combine. So what we're going to do, we're going to get back down to the bottom here, get this one unloaded, record our last 12,500 litres on my little sheet so I can keep a track and figure out what we took off this field, and then we're going to go and tab through the different combines and see what they're all up to. Hopefully pretty close to finished if they're not already. I'd expect the one in the field 8, the one at the top there, should be all done because that was a pretty small field. In fact, probably smaller than this one. The one down the end might still be going. We'll go and see anyhow. There we go. I'm getting a notification about IO work having a full grain tank. I'm not sure what that is. It's one of the combines. Something needs to be unloaded though, so we've obviously got either an issue with a grain cart somewhere or walker wagon not working, so we'll go and figure that out. But let's just get this one emptied out and then we'll go and see what's happening. So just looking at some quick numbers, I think we probably ended up with about 46,000 litres out of that field. So that's not bad. Right, let's just stop this here. I'm just going to park up. Not sure if it's going to be in the way of anything, but let's leave that there. Let's go and see where the other combines are up to. So we're all finished down in this field, so we'll get this combine back over to where we were. We'll send the grain cart back as well. It can go and get unloaded, and then that's two of the three fields done. We'll go and see the last one. So we've just popped down to the end field here to see what's going on. There's not too much left in the field, but for whatever reason, this grain cart didn't unload into the front of that truck. It's gone past, so maybe it was a trigger distance setting. I'm not sure what that is. Let's just have a quick look. Maximum trigger distance, probably that. I think that's probably our issue, so we'll just bump that up a little bit just to make sure it doesn't happen next time. Basically, if the trigger distance is too far, it's not going to unload until it's 25 meters. So if it was 25 meters from the front to here, it wouldn't unload in the first one. That's about the only reason I can think that might have caused it. But anyhow, in fact, let's not even do that. We'll just take over and go and drive this ourselves for the last little bit and get it all finished. Now, I did a little bit of an add up. That field 8, the one down the back that we didn't harvest, had about 58,592 litres in it. So I wonder if we're just seeing the effects here of the moisture mod boosting the yields more in some fields than the other. Of course, we didn't actually do any prep on any of these, so yeah, it might be down to that, could be down to any sorts of things. We can't even unload there because it hasn't cut in. Alright, we'll figure this out and get it unloaded and on its way again. Well, there we go, combines unloaded and off. Just taking, I guess, 4 more passes left to finish the field off, so should be able to get that done without having to unload again. But let's go and see if we can get this truck to move. Hopefully this 18,800 litres of soybeans will be enough to send it off on its way. Now this one actually hasn't unloaded this truck yet either, so I suppose it's only had the one field into it where the other one had 2, but still seem like the yield wasn't quite as high down here as it was at the other fields. But anyhow, let's drive up beside here. I should be testing out the auto drive actually, but we'll bother about that another day. Let's get this in under here and unload it. There we go, there's enough for that truck to be full, so it should head off now and go and unload. And we'll go over and wait for this combine to get finished. And there we go, that's us at the end of the field. Of course, course plate is going to fold that all up and get it put away nice and neatly. Let's head on back down. We're going to get this emptied out into the truck. Hopefully it's made its way back, although, you know what, I reckon it might be stuck. Possibly with the other truck blocking the way. It's one of the things I did think about with this course. But we'll get over here and we will see. The next plan is we are going to bring all the combines down here because this is going to be the next field we're going to be doing over here, over the road, over the other side of the track. Get these soybeans all harvested and out of here. So plenty more to do. There's a whole lot of corn. There is, it's going to be busy. The corn's going to be actually quite frantic, I think, with the higher yields and that we can expect out of those. But there we go. No truck. We'll go and find out where that's at. And there we go. It's stuck. I knew it would be. That is the one downside to these courses and the way they were done, and not having the trucks actually off the edge of the field. So it might be a case of having to make a few little lay-bys at each field rather than just using a point on the main course. Easily fixed. Easily fixed. Right, let's get this truck on down there, get it loaded, get the grain carts emptied out, and get everything else staged down there for next time. There we go, truck is back. What are we going to end up with? 51,300 litres in the first load and then 12,945 here. So what's that going to end up at? About 51, 64, 65,000 litres or so off this this field. So yeah, not too bad again. Right, here we go. That is that all empty. I'm just going to park this up over here. I am going to go and empty the truck out just so I can get a final cumulative total in the bins before we start in the next field, because my big question is, can we get more soybeans off this one field and we've got off the 4 we've harvested so far? It's going to be a interesting test, interesting question to find out. So we'll park that up there and grab the truck, send that back down to unload, and then we'll get everything else all set up down here ready for the next one. So there we go, everything all down here staged, ready to go for the next one. We've got the trucks down there, the 3 combines and the 2 grain carts. Now, a few numbers, facts and figures for what we've achieved so far. We've harvested 220 acres and we have harvested just on 515,000 litres of soybeans. So just take a look in stock check here. We've got 513,300 in the tanks, and then there's 1,700 or so left in here. So 513 plus the 1,700 will pretty much take us to that total 515,018. So that is us all done with that. And like I said, 220 acres harvested. Now, the big question is, and I posed it before, will we get more off this field of soybeans than we have off the other fields? Now, just taking a look there at the moment, our yield bonus is minus 9%. Our moisture is a lot lower than it should be. We're only getting 91.25. We've got a potential harvest quantity in there of 284,000 litres off 171 acres. So it's a smaller field than what we've cumulatively harvested, even though it's the biggest field. But in saying that, it's still quite a way behind where we are. So we almost need the moisture to come up a little bit. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to skip forward time. We're going to harvest this in October, day 2, of October, and see if we can just get that moisture bumped up and what sort of yields we could possibly get if we can perfect the moisture just a little bit more. I mean, it's not a science, is it? You don't perfect moisture, but maybe we can hit a slightly closer target. In the meantime, we do have the 2 articulated tractors already starting on some tillage down there on the 2 small fields. Get them into the big field down there, and then they can come down and do this one, and hopefully by that time we'll have finished the soybeans and be ready to move into some corn. So anyhow, lots to talk about, lots to do. It is a little bit repetitive, we're doing the same, but I'm trying to do it all a little bit differently just to make it a little bit more fascinating and interesting for you guys to follow along with. So as always, 2 hours done, dusted. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.